So here's a question for you. Have you ever had a story shock you? I mean, really shock you. Like, you know, it hits you like a train in a tunnel with a light off, if you know what I mean, right? Like, just really shock you. It happened to me one time years ago. There was a big party, and we were, at the end of the night, we were driving everybody, everybody was driving, getting lifts home or whatever, anyways. And so I dropped my cousin off. And she lived on the ocean, and the road she lived on was a real windy, twisty road. So anyways, it's about 3:30 in the morning, and it is driving rain, okay? So I drop her off, and I'm heading home myself now, right? Because she was the last person to drop off. So I'm on my way home, but when I come around a turn on this road, there's this young woman, probably about, I don't know, maybe 22, 23 years old or whatever, but she's hitchhiking in this fucking rainstorm on the side of the road. Anyways, so I pull over, and she comes up to the car, and she pauses for a second, because you really don't know who you're getting in with. But she's in a bind of a situation, right? So she opens the door, and she gets in, and she's like, thank God you stopped, because she said, you're the only car, she said, I've seen, she said. And she said, I hate this fucking road. I was shocked, personally, that the girl was even hitchhiking at that hour of the night. So I said to her, I said, no offense, but what the hell are you doing hitchhiking at this hour of the night? Like, that's not safe. And she's like, me and my boyfriend got in a fight, and he kicked me out of the truck. And I hate this fucking road. And I thought, at first, she was mad because her and her boyfriend got in a fight, and, he kicked her out in the middle of fucking nowhere, basically, and in a rainstorm. But then she tells me the story. So she says, I hate this fucking road. And I said, really? I said, why? And she said, because she said, when I was like 12 or 13 years old, she said, I was at a friend's house. And she said, at that time, she said, I used to live with my aunt. And I was walking home to my aunt's place, and it was only like maybe a half a mile up the road. But she said, as I'm walking, she said, I noticed there was a crunching in the woods. And she said, I thought it was like a deer or something. And as I'm walking, it was walking. And then I'd stop and it'd stop. And she said, it was kind of weird, but she said, I really just thought it was like a deer or like a raccoon or something in the woods, right? Just some poor old animal wandering around. Anyways, she said, I got close enough to my aunt's house that I could see the porch light. And she said, when I was walking along, this thing was crunching. She said, I really just wanted to see whatever it was, if it was a deer or a raccoon or whatever it was. So she said, I stopped. There was no street lights, but it was a full moon night and stuff. And she said, I was just waiting and letting my eyes adjust, and I was looking into the ditch. And she said, this crunching, whatever it was, stopped too. And she said, it sounded like it was kind of making its way to the road. So I was figuring, like, if it was a deer or something, maybe I might get to see a deer or something walk out in front of me. Well, she said, I'm standing looking into the ditch, and I'm letting my eyes adjust into the darkness. And she said, it's right fucking quiet. And she said, all of a sudden, the fucker's cell phone went off, and I could see the cell phone light up on his belt. And man, I'm telling you, when she said that, and I don't know if it was because we were on that road, it was like the middle of the night, and driving rain, and there was like all these, exterior things going on that was really adding to the suspense of the story. But man, that fucking spot in the story, when she said that, it hit me like a baseball bat in the dark. Like, it was just blindsided me. And I broke out. I said, holy fuck. Because I didn't expect that. I really expected her to say, like, well, a deer walked out or whatever. But she said, no. She said, the fucker's cell phone went off. And she said, I only got to see it for about a second and a half because he put his hands over it immediately, trying to keep it dark, like keep it covered up. And she said, I booked her then to my aunt's house. She said, I never ran so fast in my entire fucking life. And she said, I never forgot that night. She said, on this road, she said, and I hate this fucking road for that moment in her life. And rightfully so. I mean, the girl was obviously, that would fuck you up. But the thing about it that got me about it is that, that was like, 20 years ago or more when that happened to me. But I still remember the emotion I had at that moment. It was like, when she told me that story, I didn't expect that. It just fucking blindsided me. And I ended up driving the girl home and back to her house and stuff where her boyfriend was and that sort of thing. But I just never forgot that night. And yeah, so if you've ever had that sort of experience, because whenever you're hearing a story, sometimes, you get like, you see where you think it's going to go, and you're making these assumptions like, okay, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and your head gets ahead of you, you know. But then when you fucking pull a left turn like that, and there's a couple other, there's 2 channels on YouTube here that I really enjoy. One is Mr. Ballin, and the other is Mr. Nightmare. And them 2 guys, like a big shout out to them guys, because they know how to tell a story. But that night when that girl told me that story, I never forgot the emotion I felt. Even talking about it, I can still remember how I felt. It was like you're waking, like you were shocked out of a sleep or something. It was like cold water and you were asleep and you'd just be like, what the fuck? Well, that's what happened that night. Anyways, thank God it doesn't happen to the poor girl. But yeah, what a fucking crazy fucking story that was. Anyways, if you ever had that sort of a thing happen to you, where somebody was telling you a story or something like, you know, and you got to be careful in this world, so fuck knows, you know, you got to watch it when you're out hitchhiking or going out on the roads or anything, because you never know who's around. But if you ever had that sort of story, that sort of a shock in a story or whatever happened, let me know in the comments. And if you ever had that sort of fucking thing happen, and I feel bad for you if you do, because that would fucking fuck you up, because you're expecting a fucking deer or something to come out of the woods, and all of a sudden, you know, it's some fucking weirdo. But anyways, if you ever had that happen too, let me know in the comments. But anyways, hope you're having a great day. And I just thought I'd pop this story in and just say hello. Anyways, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.